Hey everyone, welcome to this special Beyond the Building series, BTB at PTP. We are here at Polishing the Pulpit in Sevierville, Tennessee, and we thought it would be a great opportunity while we have so many amazing speakers here to have some of them come on the show and encourage all of us to go beyond the building in our evangelism. We want to take the time to thank PTP for giving us the time and space to give you the best content possible, all the people involved in the recording process, and of course, the many guests who came on the show to build us up. And now, on to the video. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of BTB at PTP. Here we have Matt Jones, the Matt Jones. You may recognize him because he was our one and only guest host of BTB. I think it was season 2 that we had you on, early season 2. We are very thankful to have Matt Jones here. Matt and I have a special relationship over ducks. No, not actually, but no, Matt and I are very good friends, and we're happy to do this show here and discuss a little bit about what we, in a joking way called weird evangelism, right? Kind of stepping beyond, no pun intended, just doing simple Bible studies, getting creative with ways that you can evangelize. So yes, that is really the reason why this table looks like Joey's room from Full House, like just full of trinkets and random crazy stuff. So
that's a really old reference for you to make.
Yeah.
Like, what are you, 40?
Yeah, and I was
Full
planning
House?
that joke too. I was Fuller House.
Okay.
Well, Full House was the original one, but Fuller House was the Netflix.
Okay, yeah,
spin-off.
never mind. That was a Gen Z joke. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
I thought you were going.
was.
I thought you were going all the way back to.
No, I was.
Okay.
I was.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So, tell us a little bit about. We are here at PTP, as we've discussed before, but there is a special thing about this year's PTP in terms of evangelism that you had a large hand in helping with. So, tell us about kind of that initiative and that program that you kind of put together here.
Yeah. So PTP, you have thousands of people come into one place in Sevierville. We kind of take over the city, us and the Jeep people.
Yeah.
The Jeep people come in. I think they kick off on Thursdays, but some of them come in early. So you start seeing Jeeps everywhere. And a few years ago, I took my girls out after the end of PTP to go see all the Jeeps. And it was just Jeeps, like modified, amazing Jeeps as far as the eye could see, which was really cool. And they had been to like one of these little events, and they'd gotten a bunch of these ducks. And they wanted to put their ducks on the Jeeps because they could see the ducks on the Jeeps. So we did that. And at one point, like walking back with one of my girls, it was like thunderbolt, like, dude, what if we could make evangelistic ducks?
Yeah.
And it got put kind of on the back burner for a while. And then just a couple months ago, David called me up and said, hey, that duck idea, do you want to try to make it happen? And we did. And so the concept basically is that what we did was we found ducks we could order in bulk, and we put QR codes on the bottom. We got special stickers that'll stick to this type of plastic, had the QR code printed on, and that gives us our evangelistic little ducks. Works out perfectly. I mean, anybody could really do this. It just works out perfectly that we bring in thousands of Christians right before they bring in thousands of Jeeps.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it is definitely a unique way of evangelism. Like usually you wouldn't think of something like this, but practically it really works. So kind of going beyond the physical idea of the ducks, kind of walk us through the concept of, I guess, for lack of better terms, now that we've already named it, weird evangelism, right? Doing something different, going really beyond what you might conventionally use as evangelism. Kind of guide us through that concept and what it might bring.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that question even comes in with the Duck Project because, for instance, with the Duck Project, it's not really about getting ducks. It's not really about getting QR codes on ducks. It's not really about Jeeps. It's about the same question you always ask anytime you do something evangelistic, which is, where am I pointing people? And obviously the biblical answer is Jesus, but yes, but the idea is, in a very practical way, where am I pointing them? Am I pointing them to a worship service? Am I pointing them to a prayer request? Am I pointing them to a Bible? Like whenever I take any evangelistic action, I'm hoping to get a response out of the person, right?
Yeah.
What is that response? Like for instance, with the Duck Project, that QR code. We always have Bring a Friend Night, which is something Evangelistic PTP's already done, is has Bring a Friend Night, and we would hand people cards. They had the cards again this year. But this QR code would take you to a landing page where there was actually a special extra made video with the guy who's going to preach, or maybe it was the guy who's going to preach, but it was a guy saying, hey, a preacher saying, hey, come to Bring a Friend Night. It's an invitation.
Yeah.
And if you want a free book, the book God and Man, you can put your information in below. So you're also gaining information, you're seeing who is responding to you, and potentially our hope is saving souls. But that's the answer every time. So weird evangelism is simply, nothing changes except what the least important part, which is what I'm going to do to get their attention.
Yeah.
So, because the goal is always the same, at least it's always generally the same. You're trying to get communication, you're trying to get response. Yeah. So, the better you are at selecting what response you want and getting it, the better off you're going to do. So maybe something like this, you know what, numbers-wise, maybe there's some other form that you could get that QR code out there besides a duck, right?
Yeah.
But if someone has that idea, then that's what we do next time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's collaborating with other people to generate these types of ideas, right? Well, how can we use some random interest that someone has, right? And now, granted, I'm not trying to speak for you, but you're not like interested in ducks, right? That's not your thing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is.
I'm not particularly interested
maybe
in
ducks.
ducks.
Are like,
I will
love
say,
ducks.
I will
Duck collector.
say, I found these at Walmart, and I thought they were really cool. I actually bought 2 for myself, so maybe I'm starting to have an interest for ducks, but that's obviously
you got
not.
the shirt already.
I bought the shirt for this event, but no, it's a means to an end. And actually, the first day we were setting up, we met a kid who was wearing a duck jacket. And he's like, oh, I've also got a duck this, and he's wearing a duck shirt. He said, I got a duck jacket, I got a duck this.
He is interested in ducks.
He brought all his duck stuff, and I said, well, why do you have duck stuff? Are you into ducks? He said, no, but I know the Jeep people are in town, and they're nicer to you if you're wearing duck stuff. And I was like,
that's crazy. So he's smart. Let's go. I love it.
And I'm going to assume he meant that for the purpose of evangelism, right?
Yeah.
Bring a friend night.
Sure.
If I wear duck stuff, they'll listen to me more.
Yeah.
So weird evangelism, honestly, sadly, in a lot of places, weird evangelism is simply doing evangelism.
Yeah.
It can fall by the wayside, but weird evangelism is you thinking out of the box to do whatever you can to get someone's attention, to draw them to wherever you're drawing them, Bible study, worship service, whatever. But I think this is important too, because in trying to influence people to become evangelistic, I'm thinking of one guy in particular I remember from my past. I was working with a group on being evangelistic, and he was one of them, and I mentioned to him, being evangelistic, and he said, but I'm weird. And in that moment, I go, okay, what do I say to this? Because he was a little different.
Yeah.
And so my answer was, we'll convert weird people.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the point, is because everybody's weird. I think that's kind of the point is, if we think that evangelism is just knocking doors, or evangelism is just inviting my friend to church services, or it's just, man, I don't know, have fun with it, especially if you got kids or something. You know how much fun the kids this year here have had with giving these ducks away?
Yep.
Like in a world where being evangelistic is enjoyable, and it's especially, I think, important. When I came in, I said, we messed up. We should have had ducks without QR codes to give to the kids. But it didn't take very long of watching the kids come up to realize this is a teachable moment. The kid comes up and he sees a little soldier duck, and he wants very badly to keep it. And then you have that teachable moment with the parent, which I talked about with some of the parents, which is, I know you think this is cute. I know you think that you like this, but we're going to give it away for Jesus. We're going to give it away because it's a chance for someone to learn about Jesus. And then the kid, are always going to answer yes to that.
Yeah, and it's, of course, there's within reason. Like, we're not going to go absolutely bonkers crazy, right? But it's taking these little opportunities to have, small ideas like this, where it can make a huge impact and really show that we care, right? Show that, hey, we're going to give you, this basically is the Jeep equivalent of giving someone a gift card, right? Hey, we're going to gift you with something that you collect Jeep, or you collect the ducks for the Jeeps, right? Yeah. So we're going to give that to you for kindness sake. And hey, while we're at it, on the bottom is a QR code, right? So realistically, it all boils down to the biblical concept of being kind and being an example, right? So you give someone a duck, that's an act of kindness. Just so happens, hey, there's a QR code here. Take that opportunity to share the gospel. So it's a fantastic opportunity to use weird evangelism, as we've been calling it throughout the episode, to win souls and to, have these contacts with people. And this is unique out of, the other guests that we have had on the show, to where this is new, right? This is a new idea. It hasn't been. We haven't finalized the results of the test, for lack of better terms, right? We are doing this currently. We don't know how many souls it's going to reach. We don't know. Frankly, we don't know if it even worked, right?
We've had one. It was actually kind of funny. We've had one set of visitors so far that came from the Ducks specifically, and they were already members of the church. Yeah. And they were just happened to be in town. I think they were maybe in town for the Jeep thing, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool that you've got a big Christian event up here," and so they came. Yeah. But so you're right. We don't know what the reach will be, just like you don't with anything. What I do know is this: if I get a tract and I hand it to somebody, it's usually one use. Actually, it's probably like 99% zero use, right? If I hand them a tract or a postcard or like something like that, a little card from like Vistaprint or something, if I hand them that, it's going to be thrown away. The one really cool thing about these is these stickers are like high quality, top grade stickers. And these ducks, we have some really cool looking ones. Like some of these might be one that people just love, but they're not so cool that they're like these. So what's going to happen with these ducks? Well, they're going to start trading them. Yeah. So this duck isn't being thrown away the way a tract is. Yeah. So even if we don't get, if we had got 0 people from who got the ducks this week, doesn't mean that we won't get somebody somewhere way across the country who gets the duck in a month. Yeah. And so that's kind of the cool things about this. You made a good point, not being bonkers. And that is important. This is operating within an acceptable and accepted system of ducking with Jeeps. It doesn't behoove us. Weird evangelism does not mean evangelism where you're being out of sorts. Yeah, or flippant. Or flippant or have shock value, because that doesn't serve the purpose of what you're trying to do. Yeah. It doesn't mean you can't have fun in evangelism. It doesn't mean you can't be funny. Converted a guy in GNC one time because I was making jokes. I was trying to make rapport with the person checking me out at GNC. And I'm making these jokes, lame jokes, because they're my jokes. They weren't actually funny. So I was shocked. The dude that was checking me out was deadpan. Yeah. He was dead, and I'm trying hard, and he's just deadpan. Yeah. But I keep hearing this like loud chuckle on the aisle. I can't see who it is, but the aisle behind me. And he walks over, and I meet him, Brandon, and I tell another joke and he laughs, and I was like, hey, somebody who likes my humor, I have to make this person my friend. And so we walk out to his car. He's driving a Chrysler Sebring. I'm like, dude, my brother-in-law had a Chrysler Sebring. I love Chrysler. We talk a little bit, and I say, this is before I was very bad at evangelism at the time, but I said, hey, you want to come to church? Yeah. And he goes, I hate church. And I said, that makes sense. And then he goes, what? I said, that makes sense. I guess it makes sense you'd hate church. You probably go to, this. And it was true. He went to a church where they treated him poorly, so it makes sense. A lot of people you meet, church hurt, it makes sense they hate church. But they don't know what the Lord's church is. Anyway, long story short, he obeyed the gospel. He met a girl, taught her the gospel. She obeyed the gospel, and later I got to do their wedding. Yeah. That was somewhat weird evangelism. This is where, again, I think on the practical, personal level, where does weird evangelism fit in? Is not to be afraid to take what is at your disposal to reach someone with the gospel. In that case, at GNC, horrible humor. But like, for instance, you catch someone, say you're going to shop for your garden, and you're in the garden section, and there's people picking out seeds. This is something else I do that's probably viewed as weird by a lot of people, but if they're picking out seeds, I'll look what they're getting. So they're getting like squash or something, and I'll say, excuse me, and like, yeah, do you think that if you plant those, what do you think you could grow watermelons with those seeds? And they're like, what? No. And then of course you're taking the Luke 8:11. You're like, and you just kind of open that up, and you find out pretty quickly if they're interested or not. Interesting. So I think on the practical level, obviously, you could do a project like this at your house, but probably it's just more using what's at your disposal. You can see that at different churches. I've heard of the red the little red marbles, flat marbles. There was a guy who did that where he had red marbles at church and he would give them to members and say, give them out this week. And the idea is you put it on their hand. And while that may not be historically correctly accurate, but and you have a conversation about Jesus and you're pointing out the blood. Yeah. And, so be creative. If you have kids especially, make it enjoyable, make it object-wise, and
have the kids
preach them with the gospel.
Yeah, have the kids learn that evangelism isn't this drag, right, that we don't have success with, right? Yeah. Like we discussed with Rob, and probably with many of the other guests that have been on here, not getting a study is not necessarily unsuccessful evangelism, right? Contacts are incredibly successful evangelism, right? And we had discussed that, not everyone is going to do Bible studies constantly like that. Some people are going to be way better at bringing people to get Bible studies, right? And kind of sharing the gospel with them in that way, right? And being kind, we all have our different talents, our different abilities that we can use to our disposal, right? So the bottom line is we need to be able to think creatively, right? Critically think, okay, what's my audience, right? Who am I trying to reach in my society, right? Yeah. In my circle, who am I trying to reach? For us, it was Jeeps, because that happens right after this, right? You have to examine and look, walk prudently, right? We have to think about our steps, and we have to think about what we're trying to do and be intentional with our evangelism. Also,
what am I good at? Yeah. What am I good at? Yeah. Your skill leads to it. So, like, if you're good at baking, weird evangelism for you could be, let's make a nice dessert for every person on our block, one at a time. Yeah. And carry it to them with a tract, with an offer for a Bible study, whatever. There's a guy in here this week. His form of evangelism is he is a master machinist, like works with metal. Yeah. Yeah. And so he invented some stuff, got some money flow going, and he's got a program where you can come and you learn. They teach you to do all this metal work for free. They put you up everything. And the only requirement is that you come to Bible studies. Yeah. And they've, reached a ton of people. So yes, it's who is my audience is one way to look at it. It's a great way to look at it. Another way is if I'm going to do general public, or if I'm going to do an audience that's not super specific, like maybe my neighborhood, what am I good at? What are my skills? What are my talents that I can use to do that? And don't be afraid. Again, don't be afraid for people to say, well, that's a weird way to go about it. If it works and it's using your ability, that's kind of what the point is. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for joining the show and talking about all these little guys, all the ducks. This is, like we discussed, an ongoing thing, right? This is something that's happening now, right? It's not something where we already have the results and it's like, boom, we got the numbers for you, right? But that's part of evangelism, right? Honestly, most of the time, we're not going to have the numbers. We cast the seed. That's all we got. Yep. You think about the people that Paul might have shared the gospel with, who Timothy ended up baptizing. Yeah. Paul might not have even known those people got baptized, right? But that's the beauty of it, is that we can have confidence knowing that we've done God's word and that we have loved others successfully and effectively. And that's our main goal, is to share God's word with others, love souls, love people enough to share that good word with them. So once again, thank you, Matt, for joining the show. And we will see everyone next time on Beyond the Building. Here we have Matt Jones. Do you want me to say Matthew or Matt?
Yeah.
I was going to stop.
This is a good take. Don't stop it.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. This is perfect. I'm Matt Jones, or Matthew Jones.
Well, I'll put this in the blooper.
Take it away, TJ.
Oh, my good gracious.
No, this is the show. They were live, bro.
No,
we're gonna roll what we got.
I'm stopping. That's
hey, everybody.
terrible.
They're still there, though.
I know. They can go away.
They're still, like, literally.
I know, but the button is...
All right, let's try that.
Red means stop, bro.
Show that one more time.
All right. Well, do you want me to call you Matt or Matthew?
I don't care.
Okay, Matt Jones it is.
If you can be in here, I'd like you to take some pictures.
What's this? Dude, this is definitely going to have a blooper reel in it.